What's going on, guys? It's DigiWatchTCG coming to you with another deck profile. Now today we are going to be going over our Alphamon Ouryuken deck. Now I don't have everything for this deck. I try to make it as much as I can. I started making a uh, DigimonCard.dev profile for this, and I was just going to show you online. But since I got most of it in hand, I figured I'd just show you what I'm playing now. But before we begin, please remember to like, subscribe, leave your thoughts below, and what you'd like to see next. So I'll explain a little bit about what my choices are, starting with the Digi Eggs. We are going to play 4 copies of Doraemon, so I'm not going to go through the whole effect, but basically if you add a card underneath, which is the trigger for most of these cards, Doraemon lets you draw 1. Now, drawing is very important, and our 5th egg doesn't really matter personally. If you're going into 5 eggs, you're absolutely playing the deck wrong, and you want consistency, and I think that having this card here at 4 is the most consistent you're going to get. So I absolutely believe that keeping it at 4 is totally the way to go. I don't think that going into anything else would be a good idea. Going into our first level 4, it's for Ryutaman. And so with the Ryutaman over here, I think this is personally a good choice. I don't really know. I've been seeing people play other cards with this instead, like playing like memory blockers or reduction blockers and stuff like that. I think that playing the X antibody at its full capacity is probably the most consistent way of playing the deck. And with Ryutaman is your hard drop. I don't think it's a good one to digivolve unless there's no other choice. But you basically want to hard drop this, get your Yuji, get your X antibody card with traits in it, which I think it's any card, so it includes cards that are X antibody options but have X antibody in their traits. So 4 copies of the Ryutaman. Then we're playing 4 copies of the original Doraemon. So this is the Doraemon from BT7. I believe it's BT7. And it basically searches. These both search. So this searches for an X antibody and the Yuji, and then this one is X antibody and Coda, which is your memory tamer. But really, the reason what you're trying to do with this is you're trying to have it either in your raising area over here, or you're holding in hand, so you could place it underneath your bigger Digimon once you get there. So definitely want to play 4, nothing less than that. And then we're playing 2 of the new Doraemon. This one is really good. I really like this. Basically, I like draw 2s, and I like the fact that it doesn't really necessarily pick like X antibody cards like these searchers do. It just gives you an option of possibly even pulling into your Gromomons and things like that. So absolutely, I think 2. I might even want to bump this up to possibly 3, depending on this. And we are only playing 10 of our rookie lineup. It's a little short, but there's ways of kind of boosting the consistency, so 10 doesn't feel like too bad. Going into our level 4s, starting off, we're going to be talking about our Gromomon over here. So with the Gromomon, it's your hybrid for game. Essentially, this is how you end up winning at the end. Basically, most cases this is the case. So 2 Gromomon. We are playing 4 copies of Darugamon here. And the Darugamon over here has the ability of being a blocker if you have an X antibody card on the field. So if you have an X antibody card, that's a separate card, or underneath it as a Digivolution source, it gains blocker. As inherited, it gives your Digimon with X antibody and its traits 1,000 additional DP. We are playing this one because of the other card we're playing as our level 4, which is the Dex Dorogoromon, or Dex Dorugamon, sorry. So what you want to do with this is basically you can Digivolve for free onto Darugamon, and then if you Digivolve from the trash or Digivolve on top of Darugamon, you can gain 1 memory by trashing 1 card in your hand. Additionally, if it's Digivolving on top of Darugamon, I'm sorry, let me freeze this. I think I slightly mixed up the effects. You can Digivolve this for 0, that's all the same. But when you Digivolve it, if it's a card with X antibody and its traits, you can gain 1 memory back. So actually you gain a memory by Digivolving into Dex Dorugamon. Additionally, if you Digivolve onto Darugamon, you can trash 1 card in your hand, and then it gets block and retaliation for the turn. So the whole purpose of this like new version of the deck is basically to make a very, very big stack of cards with Alphamon Ouryuken at the top, and then at the end of the attack with Ouryuken, you're able to send cards from your underneath it to the bottom of your deck. in the sense that you're going to be able to gain maybe 3 or 4 memory back to your turn. So having extra bodies, 4 onto 4, 5 onto 5, 6, 3 on 3 if possible, is a way of basically being able to build up a stack, keep what you want to keep, and then send the rest away. So that is what we're doing for our 4s over here. Going into our 5s, we're playing 4 copies of the Greymon, and basically it's our additional security check as an inherited, but also it protects it from being DP reduced. So there are some yellow decks that are currently out right now that are more now focused on the DP reduction aspect of things rather than the recovery, since Jet Sophia was just limited to 1. I think that this is going to be a little bit more prevalent, and I think it's a really good card. Additionally, we also have 3 copies of the Dex Greymon, Dex Greymon. Basically the same kind of effect as the Dex Greymon. You digivolve on top of Greymon and for 1 cost, or you can do the normal 4 cost to digivolve. If you do, you can trash 1 card with X anti-bias traits from your hand to be able to gain 1 memory back. So you can technically make this still free, and as well as having the other effect of, if it's over a Greymon, you can delete 1 level 4 or lower Digimon on your opponent's side of the field. I am playing only 3 of these because I feel like sometimes if you don't pull both of these, like the Greymon and the Dex Greymon, you basically are going to be stuck. So I don't want to be stuck, and I want to play this basically as 7 copies. But yeah, if you would rather play 4 and 4, feel free. If you can find room, please let me know. Next, we are going to play our level 6s, which are the first is for Ouryuken over here. So with the Ouryuken, basically this is not necessarily the one you want to digivolve. I guess you could say you don't want this to digivolve into. You rather put this underneath your Digimon, but it could work either way. It does have an amazing effect as an inherited of being able to unsuspend your Alphamon after the initial attack, but its other effect is when you digivolve, you can put 1 card underneath it, and if you do, it gets the effect of 2,000 additional DP, as well as not being able to be deleted this turn. And the digivolve effect is you can target one of your opponent's Digimon with play cost of 7 or less and delete it. So this is the one that you want to kind of stick under rather than digivolve on top. But if the case comes where this is the only out to certain cards, you can definitely do the same thing and even put an Alphamon if you draw into an Alphamon underneath it instead. So yeah, we were playing 4 copies of our Ouryuken. And then we were playing 3 of the new Alphamon. Now this I feel was so crazy, the fact that this here is a rare out of the set and has just such a good ability for a rare. When you digivolve into this card, and it's for 3 to digivolve into, you can target 1 card in your trash and then put it underneath. And additionally, when you do that, you can de-digivolve 1 of your opponent's Digimon. Now, keep in mind that effect to de-digivolve is not on Digivolve. It's the requirement of putting a card underneath. And what does this deck like to do? It likes to put cards underneath. So you can actually do de-digivolves in multiple turns, once per turn per copy. But it's so crazy that is just all 1 effect with this type of Alphamon. We are playing the original Alphamon as well from BT6. And I do like this one because sometimes if it is in security, first off, it kind of like stops your opponent from being able to do more damage to you, but also just being able to gain that memory sometimes is the life and death of your deck. So being able to swing, and maybe like if you survive the check, you want to suspend, or being able to swing over a lot of bigger things for just its regular 3 cost of memory is pretty good. So that is our level 6s right now. Going into our level 7s, which is the 2. I'm playing 2 right now because this is all I own, but we are playing 2 copies of the Alphamon Ouryuken. So with the Alphamon Ouryuken is basically the big boss monster of this deck. What it does is when you digivolve, you delete the Digimon or Digimons with the highest play cost on your opponent's side of the field. And additionally, at the end of your turn, you can send up to 7 non-Digi Egg cards underneath this card with X anti-bias traits to the bottom of your deck and gain 1 memory for each one. So I should say before that, you can digivolve this onto a Digimon with Alphamon and Ouryuken underneath it. for a reduced cost of 3 or alternate Digivolution of 3 instead of the whole 7, which is what you want to do. You want to go 3, you want to basically take 7 out, put it to the bottom of your deck, and just be able to continue your turn, so because it'll pass turn to your opponent's turn, and then you pay, and then it goes back to like 3 or 4 memory, and then you can essentially go into more stuff. You can either swing with an unsuspended Alphamon, or you can Gromamon, or you can go into playing a Tamer, or whatever you need to do. I only have space for 2 right now, and I'm trying to figure out, probably by the end of this format, where a third one's going to go. But that is the Digimon lineup. Now going into our option cards. Now actually, I'll tell you a funny thing. I'm playing 2 X-Antibody options. I did not realize that this is basically his Saryumon from last set. Basically, you put this card in, and on attack declaration, you can digivolve into an X-Antibody. Since we all are playing X-Antibody cards, you basically can digivolve for anything, for any cost. You just don't get the reduction of cost by 1, which Saryumon does, or the reboot effect. But X-Antibody is a card with X-Antibody in its traits, so it works perfectly with everything in this deck. It has a security effect of gaining a memory. It has an effect of attacking. When attacking, you can digivolve into your Digimon. So there's multiple ways of using this card. I think it's definitely a mainstay at 2. But yeah, it is a really good card in my opinion. We are playing Black Memory Boost. This is kind of the consistency card I was talking about with the rookies. Of course, you can grab anything you need at any point in time, but being able to play this card and grab whatever you need is just super good, and I think that it absolutely should stay at 2 in this deck. And then lastly, this is I would say this is the flex spot you're going to have the most of, because Congo right now is probably a really good card, because if your opponent tries to rookie rush you or do some stuff, being able to try to use lower play cost or lower level Digimon to try to just kind of rookie rush you, this card is going to block that. However, right now, especially with the fact that like hybrids are kind of taking a back seat this format right now, Congo might not be the best solution. So this is a flex spot for whatever 2 cards that you may want to consider putting. If you want to stay at Congo, you could. I might put these out for Breath of the Gods, because since we are playing an OTK format and they swing and hit the Breath of the Gods in security, it stops their attack immediately. So that might be a possible choice I choose for that one. Lastly, let's go over Tamers. So we are playing 3 different types of Tamers. The first one is Yuji. So Yuji, if you don't know, is basically when you activate it, when you put a card from your in raising area to your battle area and its X-Antibody and its traits, you can gain 1 memory, draw 1. Additionally, when you attack with a Digimon with X-Antibody and its traits, you can activate Yuji. You put a card underneath it, and then basically whatever cards are already underneath it may trigger their effects, or the top Digimon may trigger an effect. So I think 3 is right now correct, but I might possibly bring it down to 2 depending on other cards. We are playing 2 Coda. It's a memory tamer. That's really all it's good for. It is a searcher, but really just for the memory. And then lastly, we are playing 2 Cool Boy, because he's too cool for school. And basically what this is with Cool Boy here, you do want to play him early on. You get your X-Antibody card. You may get your X-Antibody Digimon with in its traits, X-Antibody in its traits. And then when you digivolve into the same level, which are level 4s and level 5s do quite often, you can suspend this and gain 1 memory and 1 draw from it, so it can extend your plays even further. I might actually switch up the ratio a little bit, take 1 Yuji out, put another Cool Boy in, depending on how, I guess you could say, how consistent this deck is. This is probably the deck right now I've played the least with, just because it took some time to get our Boss Monster cards. But now that I have pretty much everything I need, I am definitely going to try it out a little more often. But what do you guys think? Are you guys excited? Are you guys playing Alphamon? Is this the deck you're taking to your regionals or your big events for stores? Let me know in the comments below. Please like, subscribe, leave your thoughts below, and your recommendations for this deck. Thank you, and this deck will be back toward the end of the format for an updated version, so to see what I have changed. Thank you for watching, and have a great day.